Alright, we're going to try to do a quick video here. I had a subscriber ask me about the air cleaner mod, and what you do is you pull your air cleaner off, you'll see this stand. You can take these bolts out. Some of the earlier carburetors had pins with button heads. You drive those out, tap the stands, install your all thread on both sides here, and it removes this air stand over the motor, the air cleaner stand, and picks up the airflow quite a bit. I had another subscriber ask me about temperature in a bus. It's important to keep the sheet metal around the motor. Anytime you let the exhaust heat come up into the engine compartment and get sucked into the cooling fan, you diminish the efficiency of the fan. Also, if you're running a Super Beetle oil cooler, you need to employ all the sheet metal on that so it can blow the hot air over the cooler, or the cool air over the cooler. The hot air goes out the back of the sheet metal and stays out of the engine compartment. When you leave that piece off and you're just blowing all that hot air through the cooler into the engine compartment, you're sucking it right back into the cold air fan. So we always want to try to keep cool air in this compartment and keep the exhaust heat under the bus. One way to monitor the heat, see if you are overheating, a cheap solution is this temperature dipstick. It has this little wire. When it gets hot, it goes around and hits the screw, and it turns on the light in the dash. The oil light comes on and says, "Hey man, my oil temperature is 220, take a break." It wires into the factory wiring system. You put a double spade here, run a wire from here over to this dipstick right here, and when this wire touches, the light will come on, and this comes on at 220 degrees oil temperature. So that lets you know if you're getting hot or not. A lot of people don't have any idea if they're running hot. They're just assuming they're not. The other way to monitor it would be a cylinder head temperature gauge. This is the wire that we use for that. This bolts to the cylinder head, and then it goes up to the front of the car. This is a one-piece harness. You can't compromise it when you install it. And it'll go up to a gauge. Cylinder head temperature is probably the best way to monitor a Volkswagen. 220 is what this runs at. It has all the cooling 10, and we made an effort to keep this one cool. So this motor does have 65,000 miles on it now, which is a lot for a bus. So hope those tips help you keep your Volkswagen cool. One other thing that's extremely important is these are flat tappet cams. And you always want to find an oil that has zinc phosphate added for flat tappet camshaft motors. Most all late model cars now run a catalytic converter, and the EPA mandated that they pull the phosphate zinc out of the oil. Most late model engines are roller cams, and they use a hardened steel camshaft with a roller on it, on the lifter, and it doesn't require any pressure additives. It's another way for the government to quietly do away with the older cars. You know, they took the zinc out of the oil and didn't tell anybody, and a lot of engine builders found out the hard way. Wiped out cams is something you'll see a lot in Volkswagen. It diminishes the power slowly over a period of time. You lose the lobe off the cam, it becomes round, and that is directly related from having the incorrect oil. So it's important to have a good zinc oil in these. Valvoline makes one. Don't get fooled by the additives. They don't seem to work very well. You want an oil that's rich in zinc from the factory. So hopefully this helps you, and you can make your Volkswagen run a little longer. Thank you.